So coming off of an amazing first season of One Punch Man with great animation and story, tons of people were super excited for season 2, and that excitement was drawn out over the course of many years until season 2 finally came out under a different studio, no longer Madhouse, but this time JC Staff. And unsurprisingly, due to probably time constraints, lack of the same animators, etc. It didn't live up to the animation of season 1, but was it that bad? I know when it was coming out, a lot of people were disappointed with it, but in retrospect, was it as bad as we thought, or was it just we were so spoiled with season 1? Also, I feel like a lot of the discussion around this season has gotten better over the years, and now I don't see a lot of people talking about how bad they might have thought it was. So I thought that was interesting to mention. So the short answer to the question that I'm posing in this video is not really. I think there's definitely really egregious examples in the season of terrible animation, some of the worst I've seen in an anime. But on the other hand, there's also great animation, especially those last 2 episodes. And I'd say episode 3, where I didn't really, when I was watching it, I wasn't thinking, season 1 was so much better. I was just enjoying it for what it was, and it was a good experience. Real quick before continuing the video, I just wanted to ask if you're still watching, if you could subscribe, comment, like, one of those would really help out the channel if you do enjoy the content, of course. Continuing on, again, as I said before, I think the highs of this season are pretty high. Almost everything with Garo and Genos in specific, I think, was animated pretty well for the most part, especially those last few episodes. Garo versus the A-class, and I think it was some B-class heroes was amazing. Genos versus Garo, and also everything with Bang, Bong versus Garo, and also against Elder Centipede at the end, all animated really well and enjoyably. Again, maybe not peak season 1 animation, but I don't think it necessarily needs to be enjoyable or even a good adaptation. I did really enjoy these episodes, and I still find myself coming back to them all these years later. And even making this video, I rewatched the episodes again, and that fight between Genos and Garo is probably up there as one of my favorites from One Punch Man, and I wasn't that way in the manga, so kudos to the animators, because I think they actually adapted it beautifully, really well done overall. That scene with Genos standing up is so badass. I really love it. Obviously, the grading on Genos' metal throughout the season is a little weird, but I think it looks okay here overall. Disappointingly though, some of the fights I personally was most excited to see, such as Suryu versus Saitama and Metal Bat versus Garo, weren't animated nearly as well as these, and to this day I still wish we would have seen a really good animation of these fights, and I think this is a real disappointment. That being said, there are moments even in these fights that do stand out as pretty good and honestly decent enough adaptation, but overall I just was kind of hoping for really crazy animation for these fights that I was looking forward to. Worse than animation for me is when an anime adaptation cuts out pretty pivotal or really cool scenes from the manga for time or etc. And in this case it's Bones, which was a really cool character, and he had a really cool sequence that was completely cut out of the season, which I thought was an absolute shame. Would have been so cool to see it. Probably never will, so it is what it is, I suppose. But I did want to add that the single part of the season that I thought was borderline like insufferable and really bad was kind of all that stuff with the S-Class fighting those monsters. It's been a while. The Monster Association was attacking the city, and a lot of it is just really badly animated and kind of just presented really poorly, such as Tatsumaki's sister and her fight. It really wasn't good, to be honest. At least not good enough to watch very often. Like, the art, even in the photos that I'm using, does look good sometimes, even with flashy flash, but I feel like he just felt too slow in that scene. Fubuki, her whole fight was just kind of mid, and I don't know, it's disappointing overall. I'm honestly struggling to find more things to talk about. I don't want to do too in-depth of an analysis, because again, you can just go watch it, but I feel like overall there were good moments in the season, there were okay moments, and then there were just plain pretty bad moments. Overall, I feel like it's an okay season. It's decent enough to look back on somewhat fondly and rewatch certain episodes and moments. Now, regarding season 3, as far as I'm aware, we pretty much haven't heard anything, if it's even happening, if JC Staff would do it, if Madhouse would come back and do it. Who knows? If it does happen, I just hope the animators have more than enough time than they need to really just hone it in, make it look really good, and not have it rushed. I also feel bad for the animators, of course, because a lot of the time they're very overworked. So yeah, I just hope it's good. That's all I have to say regarding season 3, if it does even happen, because again, the wait's looking pretty long so far. A car keeps beeping outside my window, so I was probably going to add just Sonic, Sweetest Sound Sonic. He had some cool scenes in the season. Anyways, that's pretty much it for this video. If you enjoyed, please subscribe, like, comment. It won't take long, and if you do enjoy the content, it helps out a lot and gives me the motivation necessary to even continue on. So I'll see you in the next one.